The Green Bay Packers got a much-needed road win against the New York Giants, and now they get to host their division rival, the Minnesota Vikings, who lost to the Chicago Bears on a last-second field goal in Week 11. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this Week 12 matchup and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned and watch our predictions at the very end, and also leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. Trying to get to 100 new subscribers this week, and let's see if we can do it in this video alone. And Ryan, Green
Let's
Bay
do it.
got another win, and we've said this a couple times now for a couple of the preview videos on the other teams we've done. A win is a win. Doesn't matter, though, too. But I will say, whenever you get to play Jameis Winston, it's always just fun. I will say, what a guy. But in general, though, not a stellar day overall for Jordan Love, 13 for 24. He did have 2 touchdowns, yes, but in general, though, um, the passing game is something I'm starting to get a little concerned about with Green Bay. I think it maybe might be
Yeah.
an injury thing as well too with what they're dealing with, but I still have faith in them that they're going to figure it out. Matt LaFleur's still going to figure them out. Biggest thing though for them though, Josh Jacobs, he ended up getting hurt. He got ruled out with a knee injury. By initial findings though, and what the reporting has been is that he avoided a serious injury. However, he might be going on IR though, with some sort of sprain. But still more word to come on that throughout the week as we're recording this Sunday night. But in general, though, still a win's a win. I know they gave up some yards, and not some. It's how many total yards is that? Is that 342 yards? 336 total yards, though. I do still like what I'm seeing from the Green Bay Packers defense, though.
Mhm.
It's kind of a unique game, I think, for New York. And I can going up against New York as like after they just fire their head coach, and then you're going up against Jameis Winston, like their third string quarterback. So I think it's kind of hard to game plan for them. But in general, though, even going back to that Philadelphia Eagles game from Monday night, I like what I'm seeing from this defense. I think if this offense could figure it out a little bit more, I think this team could be very deadly come late December, come January. And so, Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here, though, as Green Bay is going to be hosting here Minnesota. Another loss here, while JJ McCarthy is still trying to get more comfortable here in the NFL. What are your overall
Yeah.
thoughts on the Packers and also the Vikings, and what does each team need to do to come out victorious?
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you. I'm a little concerned about this Packers passing game. I think you looked when they were really successful. Tucker Kraft was in there. Now that he's on season-ending IR, they've struggled to find. You can't replace him, but you can adjust. They've struggled to find that adjustment just yet, and I think that's going to take a few more weeks. I think for them to really find something that could work. But all in all, I still have confidence in Matt LaFleur and this offense. Defensively, this front seven is playing really well. They need to make some improvements in the secondary, but we said this in the Rams video earlier and that we recorded, and I'll say it again here, and we say it all the time on this channel. If I had to have a good front seven or a good secondary, I would pick the good front seven every single time, just because they can wreak so much havoc and they can cover up some of the mistakes that the secondary might make just by winning on their one-on-ones. And so I think that is very good for this defense, and then maybe they can spend a high pick on a corner in this upcoming draft. But all in all, this team I still think is well-rounded and a Super Bowl contender. I just am waiting for them to kind of put all the pieces together here for Green Bay. And Minnesota, I think obviously not the season that you want to have after going 14-3 and then watching Sam Darnold. Obviously, maybe this week isn't the best example of why you miss Sam Darnold, but I think that this team with JJ McCarthy making that transition, you knew there was going to be some bumps in the road. But he is basically a rookie. He missed all of last year with the torn meniscus. He didn't play at all. And so I think that there's something to be said about actually getting in there and playing. And then he also had some injuries this year. So I think he's only made, 5 starts in the NFL so far.
Something around there, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is just something it's going to take some time for him to continue to develop. And I still think Kevin O'Connell is the guy to do that. You look at what he's done with other quarterbacks in the league. And offensively, they still have a ton of weapons. This offensive line, I know they made some additions, but they've had some injuries and they're a little banged up. So you want to see them play better. Honestly, the thing for me that is a little bit more concerning is you look at this defense and they're 11th in total yards allowed. So not like top of mind concern, but you look, they were a top 5 defense in almost every category last year. And now they're 11th in total yards allowed. They're 7th in passing yards allowed, and they have a good pass rush. They're 10th in total sacks, but they're 23 in takeaways. They're 22nd in rushing yards allowed. And I think that is really something when you look at Brian Flores that I think he needs to be a little bit more held accountable for on the national spectrum, because he was supposed to be a head coaching candidate this offseason. And now I don't know if that is quite the case for him.
Well, so the one thing to defend Florida, and I agree with you. I think that's been the area, especially too in the areas of the 22nd in rushing yards allowed. I also
Yeah.
think though to go overall and look at just the makeup of the Vikings games as well too, because last year it's like they didn't miss a beat at all with their offensive production from like Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold,
Yeah.
and then like Justin Jefferson was still great. Still had Jordan Addison though, so they were leading in a lot more games. I think now, though, if you go and look at this, especially too from a rushing perspective, like the Falcons game in week 2, they were down for majority of that game. The Falcons ran all over them as well too. The
Yeah.
the Steelers, they actually, I thought they did a good job. They just lost that game in Dublin, but the Eagles as well too. The Chargers ran all over them. Like they were down in a lot of these games as well too. Like, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 as well. And even let me double check here, even too. The same, yeah, the same thing then as well too for the Ravens game. Like they're just down in a lot of these games, so it changes up the makeup.
Yeah.
Where when if
That's
you're
fair.
obviously ahead, then Brian Flores will be like, all right, let's get after it, let's get aggressive. So I think that's to defend Flores a little bit. That all being said, though, I just think for the Vikings, just their entire play has gone down. Like
Yeah.
I think this is the rebuild year that everybody was expecting they were to have last year, but Sam
Mhm.
Darnold had an amazing year, and that offense was it's found lightning in a bottle. But that's where their playoff hopes are still alive, and you want to see JJ McCarthy keep on improving it. And he has his moments. Like he'll go and he'll make some of these tight throws. But to your point, though, he is still extremely young.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they're asking him to do here now, which I think he can do, he didn't really necessarily have to do when he was at Michigan because that team was so great. So I think this is going to be another test for him. Talking about this Green Bay Packers defense is this defense is playing better. This Green Bay Packers defense is top 5, not top 10 in every category. They're 4th in total yards allowed, 8th in passing yards allowed, 8th in rushing yards allowed, and then they've got 24 sacks so far on the season. So they're going to get after him. And I think actually, I don't know, have they played? I'm trying to remember if they have played or not. I just eliminated their. I don't think they have played yet.
No, I don't think
They
so.
have not, yeah, and they play at the end of the season. So this is going to be the first time that he's gone up against this defense, and arguably too, the Eagles defense is really good, but he didn't go up against them. This is the best defense that he's going to go up against as well.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a tough test for them, and that's why it being at Green Bay, the inconsistency and McCarthy learning still. This is where I think that the Packers are going to win this one. They're going to pull this one out, even with the struggles that they're having on the offensive side of the ball. And then if Josh Jacobs not going to be able to go, I still think they're going to be able to kind of grind their way to victory. Because one of the things that I really like, and this is what gives me hope for the Packers, is all the guys that are able to go out and get catches, and how Matt LaFleur is able to scheme guys open here, whether it be John Fitzpatrick or John Weil, like their 3rd, 4th string backup tight ends. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure John Weil it is out there. Let me double check there. Yeah. So, sorry, Josh Weil, but still able to get those guys open. Doesn't matter the system. It's the system that he runs. And I think they're just waiting for that moment for it all to mesh well together because they have a young receiving room and a lot of guys still learning. Because to think about it, Christian Watson's the most veteran guy out there. Romeo Dobbs was in that same draft class, but those are the most veteran guys out there in that receiving room. So
Yeah.
I still like Green Bay in this one. It being at Lambeau is going to be huge. A division rival, they're going to have a bunch of film on best ways to beat them. And so I think Green Bay is going to pull this one out.
Yeah. I think Green Bay is going to pull this one out too. Um, they're just more talented. You mentioned this is the best defense JJ McCarthy has and probably will face this year. I think everything's kind of lining up in Green Bay's favor. The one concern I have is with Josh Jacobs' injury. You look 22nd in rushing yards allowed here for Minnesota. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but if you had Josh Jacobs, I think that would really be, you'd really be able to exploit that and take advantage of that. And without him, that running game takes a hit. They could still do it. Not saying anything like against the other backs there, but it's nice to have your premier back against one of the lesser rushing defenses in the league. So,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
With that said, let's go ahead. Let's wrap things up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Minnesota Vikings? Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.